Birmingham 6 and I spent 16 and a half years of my life in prison for something that I knew absolutely nothing about. During the time I was in prison, I met hundreds of other innocent people. And when I came out 10 years ago, I promised people in jail that I would carry on campaigning and fighting for them. And that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. When I was in prison, as I said, I met hundreds of other innocent men. And particularly during the 80s, I seen a trend in prison that was coming through. And there was more and more innocent people coming into jail year after year after year. And they weren't Irish, they were from all backgrounds. And the large majority of innocent people in this country, remember, are English. We have Irish, every ethnic minority. It's not just the ethnic minorities, we're all targets for a police system that the bottom line is, just doesn't give a fuck about us, the public. They've taken away all our rights. Over the last 10 years, when I came out of prison 10 years ago, I was naive enough to think that after what happened to the Guildford 4, the Birmingham 6, the Maguire 7, Judith Ward, the Tottenham 3, etc. I was fucking stupid enough to think that this system was going to change for the better. People tell me that the system doesn't seem to have learned. Believe me, they have learned. That is why today it is so much harder for innocent people to prove they're innocent. Let me explain to you the way the system is working today. Jack Straw, the Home Secretary, has brought in legislation. We have now lost the right of silence, but the right of silence is being practiced in England today. But the only people that are practicing it is the police. That is the right they took away. Remember, they are our servants. The police, you've got to have a higher standard of proof against the police officer than you have against us. Yet, they are our servants. When the fuck are we going to wise up and take back some of the rights that have been taken away from us? If there's any rights being given out, let us get them. We pay for these people. And remember, the police officer, before the police officer can be investigated, this is what happens in this country. He has to be informed by his investigating officers that he is going to be investigated. And then they run around and go on the sick. Could you imagine the police going around telling the drug dealers, the rapists, etc., hey, you're going to be investigated, and they go on the fucking sick? And then, if you're going to take any charges against the police officer, what happens? They resign, or rather they retire, on the grounds of ill health, and they get 80% inflation-proof pensions. And these people, they tell us the crime doesn't pay. It pays fucking well if you're a cop, believe me. Particularly a bank one. When I come out of prison, ladies and gentlemen, 10 years ago, the floating prison population in this country was approximately 39,000. As I said, when I came out of my first public speaking engagement in Manchester in '91, I said then that the trend that I had seen in prison, if it was to carry on, it meant that hundreds and thousands of more people were going to go to jail. When I came out, I was saying there's about 600-700 innocent people in prison. And now, 10 years later, the prison population has risen in the last 9 years by 75%. We now have a prison population of just over 70,000. And with that, we also have a dramatic rise in innocent people. At the present moment, there's over 3,000 innocent people in prison here. When the cops want to put you away, they will do it. The only thing the system is interested in is a revolving door. Convictions at the end of the judicial conveyor belt. Well, we have to stop that. And if we don't do it now, we're going to lose more and more of our rights. So ladies and gentlemen, thank all of you here tonight for coming here. And I'd like to say a very big special thank you to all the artists and all the management, the guys on the security and everyone else all backstage that have made it possible.
How long was you in prison for?
I spent 16 and a half years.
For nothing.
I have a fellow up the stairs, Johnny Kamara, of mixed race. His father's from Sierra Leone. His mother was from Strabane in the north of Ireland. He spent 19 and a half years.
For nothing.
When he got through out of the Court of Appeal 9 months ago, they told him that everything was arranged for him. And what did they do? This was a man that had just spent 19 and a half years in maximum security prisons. They gave him £46 as a discharge grant. They gave him a travel warrant that expired at 8 o'clock. And they told him to make his own way to Euston on the tube. He turned around and he said to them, "What's a tube? This is a man that's been locked up in prison for 20 years and had never been in London in his life." And they dumped him outside the Court of Appeal. I ended up taking him in. Except I've been doing this for 10 years. Innocent people are treated worse than the guilty. And I'm hoping to do something about it. If anything is going to be given, I want to be given to the innocent, not to the guilty people. There's so many innocent people, and one thing you want to remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you leave here tonight,
Think about it.
you people, you're going to leave here with the greatest gift that you're ever going to get in your life. It's the gift of freedom. Treasure it. But believe me, you will never ever know what freedom really means until you have it taken away. I hope and pray to God that none of you ever lose your freedom in the manner that I and so many others have lost it. I hope and pray to God that I never have to go out and campaign for any of you. Thanks very much for listening to me.